Today's episode you do not want to miss. I have on the show today Rahkal Shelton, who is an author and the CEO of Be the Inspired You, a motivational lifestyle brand created to inspire and challenge individuals to be the best version of themselves. Now, let me tell you, with 15 years of experience in facilitating, coaching, and media, Rahkal has worked for well-known companies such as CNN, Turner, WGN, Clear Channel Communications, and the Smiley Group. And let me tell you, Rahkal's story is one of ambition, of perseverance, and hope. She definitely didn't have it easy, y'all. Being born into violence on the south side of Chicago to a drug-addicted parent, growing up in poverty, and being a first-generation college grad, landing the dream job, publishing a book, dealing with multiple deaths, and becoming an instant mom of two. She has pushed through fearlessly and has now fired her employer to continue her bigger impact and journey to inspiring others. Let's dig into this episode after the theme song. So the big question is this: how do we ambitious professionals avoid the slow-moving career, take control of our time, and get paid for two things? Doing what excites us and making an impact bigger than anyone ever thought was possible. That is the question, and this podcast has the answers. My name is Candace and welcome to Ambition, Honey, and Hustle. Hi, Rahkal. I'm so excited that you are here on the podcast today.
I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. So tell me, I am just so inspired and intrigued by your story. And you fired your boss a few weeks ago and have leaped into entrepreneurship full time. Just tell me the story of how you have gotten to this point in your career.
Thank you for having me. First, I like to say that. And yes, it has been 4 weeks approaching that 1 month marker. And I've gotten to this space just through perseverance. Firing my boss was one of the best things that I've ever done. I believe peace is priceless. And I was working in a space, while the company was great, just my current role, it felt very mundane. It wasn't fulfilling. And I was in a toxic environment. And I thought it would be very important to transition into things that I love and things that I'm most passionate about, which is serving and inspiring other people. So I had to make that call for my health.
Awesome. Wow. And it's amazing when we think about, we have got to get ourselves from one situation to the other. That's one thing, but then feeling called to do more for other people. So, I talk a lot about people understanding their ultimate impact statements and really letting them drive their actions and their career choices. And again, for those of you listening, that statement is simply, I want to impact the lives of insert your target audience by giving them insert what you have to offer so they can insert their transformation. What's your ultimate impact statement?
I love that you asked that question, and I would challenge individuals everywhere, no matter what field, whatever you're doing, is to really think through your impact statement and the legacy. I think creating something that outlives us is most important. So I love that you asked that. And for me personally, I want to impact individuals in ways that will encourage them to be the inspired version of themselves. Like, I believe there is you, and then there's like an inspired version of you. And that inspired version of us lives inside, and that's ready, waiting and willing to break free. And I think that inspired version looks like you following through on your intentions, decisive actions, goal setting, executing, serving and supporting others. That's the you that's assertive. You manage your time better, your finances, your resources efficiently, you're self-aware, you're confident, you're vulnerable, you're happy, and you're content. So my body of work is just all about stimulating that inspired version of you so you can break free of fear, stagnation, and all the things that keep you living a mediocre life, if you will.
That is, and it is so important to break free. I mean, we need that inspiration. And I want to say now more than ever before, but we've always needed it because we always deal with things. So Rahkal, tell me about the steps that help you get from dealing with an adverse past, death, and life as an instant single mom, just to becoming and being an unstoppable entrepreneur.
Yeah, so as I take a look at my body of work, just being born to a 19-year-old crack and cocaine addicted mom, being a first generation college grad, growing up in poverty on the south side of Chicago, and just kind of navigating through things, life has a way of constantly throwing curves. I think if you can master your mindset and how you see things, you're one step ahead of the game. So just my past and growing up, which is what prompted me into writing and creating. And then, 2017 was a game changer for me. I lost four of the closest people in my entire life, back to back to back. I was in the middle of a book tour, single, sexy, living my life, my best life, and the matriarch of my family dies. And as a result of her passing, I took in two relatives. And so I had to pause the book tour and just hop straight into servicing a need. And I think sometime we'll be put to the test based on that impact statement, or based on the things that we say we're most passionate about. Life has a way of putting us in that situation to test it and to make sure it's tried and true. So just kind of navigating through that and taking care of two children, and hopping right in, just dealing with those things was very stressful in many ways, but also very rewarding. One thing that was very important to me was just being conscientious of my mental health and realizing my capacity. What can I realistically do? What can I realistically give? And how can I cultivate these experiences into creating that unstoppable entrepreneur? I believe every adversity we go through is an opportunity to build, to mold us, and for us to glean something new that we need for our next step. So it was all about mindset for me.
Wow. You thinking about mindset, thinking about mental health, what you just said about, do I have the capacity or do I not have the capacity? It feels like so often we don't stop to think about that. Like, do we have the capacity, to take on these different things? And so I'm glad you brought that up. So tell me about, just describe the conversation with your family, your friends, your spouse, whomever, when you decided to quit your job and push forward to inspire people full time. What did that look like?
It looked like a couple things. So I'm a newly engaged person. It's been almost 3 months now. And thank you. And so he knew it was coming. I mean, just overall, going into work day in and day out, specifically the toxic environment that I was in and just not feeling fulfilled. And then prior to the engagement, just coming home, being a mom to two children and trying to figure things out, I felt like I was burning the candle on like both ends of the stick. I go into this place, I'm not fulfilled, it's time to go. And then I come home and I'm trying to do homework, I'm trying to feed children, I'm trying to, get it all together. And I'm like, man, something has got to give. So it's actually been some time now coming that I was planning to leave, and I finally just reached my threshold. I was like, hey, I'm out January, then it turned into March, then it turned into June. And I'm like, okay, I've got to do something. So my fiance was very supportive. He picked up a second job, hopped right in to help me pursue my dreams. And I reached out to a relative and they were willing to help me out with the children. So the children are not with me at the moment, which has been giving me just the flexibility to really focus on something that I love, that's fulfilling, and being mindful of my needs as an individual as well.
That's awesome. And how awesome is it to have all that support around you to just, help? And it's not something that everybody has, but still, I think back to when you talk about that mindset and like capacity that, there is possibility, but you got to kind of work with what you've got. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. I think we're all equipped. We have the tools that we need. It is how we see things. We can focus on the things that are going right, or we could really expand our minds and tap into the resources. And I'm just grateful. I'm grateful because everyone is not in position to just leave their jobs. I mean, I wasn't either realistically, but I feel like peace is priceless, and peace is priceless. I can't say that enough. And I didn't have the capacity to give more there. And most importantly, just pouring into people through speaking and workshops and career development and my books and all the things I love, that keeps me going.
That's awesome. So tell me, Raquel, about just sort of what challenges did you face or are you facing in building your business? What are the highs or the lows as you're going through this?
Well, I'm a newbie on edupreneur is what I like to call myself. I'm about education and entrepreneurship. And challenges are, I think people outside looking in, they think, oh, I'm just going to quit work and just start stuff for myself. If you don't have the discipline, the wherewithal,
Mhm.
and the consistency and commitment to keep going, nothing is going to come easy. And I think that's applicable to anything, whether it's entrepreneurship or even working a job. So some of the challenges I face is just wrapping my mind around everything that needs to be done, whether it's the content creating, the marketing,
Mhm.
the writing, the just all of that, and being a one-woman band. And some of the lows are the days where you don't feel like you're good enough, the imposter syndrome, or you feel like, man, can I really do this? Or you're looking at the big picture, which is stifling the small progressive steps that you have made. And in those times, I have got to get in my head. And I would encourage you guys to do the same things. You're going to hit the lows, but if you can embrace and wrangle and handle the lows, you can enjoy the highs that much more.
I like that. Wrangling the lows. Like that is,
Yep.
my gosh, that is so real. Like I can't even tell you. That is so, so real. So tell me about, you do so much. You do so much. But you being an author, that's amazing. So what experiences have led you to writing the books that you've wrote so far?
Just my childhood, statistically, I should have been dead, a ward of the state, in jail on drugs. And I defied those statistics. My senior year in college, it may not be big to a lot of people, but again, just where I come from on the south side of Chicago and being in a violent and poverty-stricken home, girls like us, like me, we don't make it that far. And I graduated with honors and was the first to go off to college. So I remember sitting there my senior year and I was like, whoa, I can't believe I'm here. I've got to share this story. And so those experiences cultivated, hey, if I can do this, there are so many other guys and girls and people from inner cities, whether it's Cleveland, Compton, Brooklyn, wherever, that may not believe that they could aspire to do much. So that's what prompted my desire and passion for my first book, which is titled Dreams Bigger Than Texas, a story of perseverance, purpose, and growth into womanhood. So it's just a phenomenal hood story, a love story, a story of overcoming adversities. And the second book, Sister Mom, that was prompted by the experience of living my life, working for this big Fortune 500 company in Atlanta, doing my thing, and the matriarch of my family dying and inheriting 2 children. And so those experiences, I like to draw off of my experiences. And I'm actually, Candace, this is top secret, but I'm working on a third project, and that book is slated to release this fall, and it's going to be a survival guide for women of color working in corporate. And it goes back to this current experiences. So I'm all about sharing my experiences with individuals as a tool of motivation. I think when people can relate to you and you have the transparency and the confidence just to kind of speak up and speak out and get a hold of your narrative and not have other people tell the narrative for you. It's just empowering, and it empowers others to do the same thing.
That is awesome. I just sit here and I have got to tell, the listening audience, as I, sat and meeting Raquel, we met through Instagram, but having gone through the stuff on her site, her blog, like her content, I was just sitting in my room, just filled with inspiration. Like
Thank you.
I just honestly, because you have a story that is just amazing. And I know we're going to talk a little bit in a little bit about, where listeners can hear some of this inspiration, but you have a story that's amazing. And to your point about the inspiration and people being able to relate to what you're saying, and when you're willing to be transparent, like how much that can help them. Like you're doing an awesome service to people that are in like that same arena. And so I applaud you for it, because I think we need more of that.
Thank you.
To help folks.
Thank you.
All right. So this question for you: if you from 10 years ago could see the you from today, what would she think?
Oh my God. She would likely roll her eyes and just be like, You were tripping. I just turned 35 2 months ago,
Mm-hmm.
right before the engagement. So I remember 10 years ago, my 25th birthday, after you graduate college, you're trying to figure out, okay, what am I supposed to do next? I'm not making the money I thought I would make. And most people have their meltdown crisis at 25, and I was absolutely one of them. And if there was a way to get a glimpse into what 35 looks like, wow, I think me 10 years ago would just be able to breathe a bit and to say, hey, it does get better. You just have to keep going. Even being in the space where quitting my job and chasing my dreams now, it's unsettling, but just like 10 years ago, it's gotten better. It's going to be better when I look back 10 years from now. So that person would just, the 10 years ago me would just be like, hey, get over yourself. Just keep going.
Things get better with time.
Yep, absolutely. It has to.
Right. Well, what's a topic, Rahkal, that you're incredibly interested in, but nobody ever asked you about?
That's a great question. I was trying to give that some thought, and I'm really interested in, I think like in another life, I went to seminary school. I'm very interested in like faith-based teachings, maybe history as well. I'm interested in history, very intrigued by generational attributes, and I'm not sure what field to call it, not archaeologist, but I'm just very interested in history, if you will, and specifically faith-based history. So I don't really get asked that often. I mean, I know my platform is different from it, but that is something that I'm very interested in.
Very interesting. Yeah, I always think it's interesting to hear about the things that people don't necessarily always talk about, but there's always just sort of hidden gems, or, oh, wow, that's fascinating. Or in some cases, oh my gosh, I think about that too. And just, ups that whole just relatability and connection to help them push further, which is awesome. So now tell us, Rahkal, if people want to get more inspiration, to hear more from you and what you have to offer in your top secret book that's coming out soon this fall, where should they go?
You guys are welcome to stay plugged into either BeTheInspiredYou.com or my personal site. Be The Inspired You is strictly the motivation. I do a lot of career coaching and development tips and just daily affirmations. You can actually go on there and download. I have a podcast of audibles. So as you're getting ready for work, you can affirm yourself. So Be The Inspired You is strictly for the inspiration, but me as an author and as an artist, that would be RahkalShelton.com. That's RahkalShelton.com. And the other site, again, is Be The Inspired You. But social media, it's at Be The Inspired You, just with the letter U, because I ran out of characters. And then for my personal social media, it's R Carla Danielle, the letter R, Carla Danielle. So that's where you guys can find me. I would love to pour into you and inspire you and be your virtual motivational coach.
Awesome. Well, Rahkal, thank you. And listeners, I have got to tell you all, like I mentioned just a few minutes ago, take some time and check Rahkal out, because the story, the inspiration, the mindset change that is possible is truly amazing. So go and check her out. And Rahkal, I'm so happy to have been able to have this conversation with you today. So thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Everyone, enjoy your day, enjoy your evening, wherever you are, and we will talk to you again soon. Are you ready to make the career change that you want to make? Are you ready to stop looking around, wondering, watching the clock, knowing that you should be doing something else, but you're still in the spot you're in? All right, so listen, if you're ready to make that career change, I want to help you. And I have a free gift for you at fulfillingcareerroadmap.com. I am going to give to you the exact same strategy that I used to move from a career that I was bored with, really just less than fulfilled, to one that I had absolute excitement and passion for. I did it all within 90 days and without the experience and qualification that the role, quote unquote, required. Inspired. So it is my gift to you. I want to see you in action. Go to fulfillingcareerroadmap.com and grab your video guide copy today.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.